Solving equations by multiplying fractions. What did the baby computer say to his father? Dada. Today's lesson is solving equations by multiplying fractions. We're going to solve equations by multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. The Indiana Academic Standard is 8.3.1. The textbook is going to suggest using multiplying by reciprocals to solve this problem. Because we're using a calculator, there's no reason why we can't just go ahead and use division. So we're actually going to divide to solve this problem because we want to get y by itself. So we're going to divide both sides of this equation by 7. So we'll have 7y divided by 7, and we'll have 1/3 divided by 7. On the left-hand side, the 7's cancel each other out, so you're left with y. On the right-hand side, 1/3 divided by 7 is 1/21. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down this part of the notes. With this particular example, we have a variable that's being multiplied by -20/27. So the fraction -20/27. The only way that we can undo this is by multiplying by the negative reciprocal. Because remember, multiplying by reciprocal is the same thing as dividing, so if we wanted to get rid of the -20/27, we'd have to multiply by -27/20. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by -27/20. On the left-hand side of the equation, the -27/20 will cancel out the -20/27, so you're just left with the variable c. On the right-hand side, we can do some cross-canceling. We can multiply it on your calculator, and you get an answer of -3/5. Pause the video if you need more time to write down this example. Don't forget to jot down any questions that you have so that we can discuss them in class. For this problem, I'm going to show you multiplying by a reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 1/2. So we'll multiply the left by 1/2 and we'll multiply the right by 1/2 because multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. On the left-hand side, the 1/2 times 2 cancel each other out, so you're just left with y. On the right-hand side, we end up with 7/18. In example B, we're going to multiply both sides by 4/5 because we need to eliminate the 5/4 that's being multiplied by d. So when we do that, we multiply again both sides by 4/5. On the left-hand side, 4/5 times 5/4 is 1. And on the right-hand side, the 5/4 and 4/5 eliminate each other, so you're just left with d. So d equals 1. In example C, we're going to have to multiply both sides by -9/2 because that will help us, that will allow us to eliminate the -2/9. So multiply both sides of the equation by -9/2. On the left-hand side, the -9/2 times -2/9 cancel each other out, so you're left with t. And on the right-hand side, 5/6 times -9/2 is -3 3/4. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget to write down a question that we'll discuss in class. Solving an equation with mixed numbers. How many 2.5-ton trucks can you place on a rail car that has a carrying capacity of 15 tons? We need to first set the problem up. We'll take the weight of each truck times the number of trucks, and that will be our carrying capacity. We'll let n represent the number of trucks. So the weight of each truck is 2.5 times n, which is the number of trucks, we don't know, equals 15. So the equation we're solving is 2.5 n equals 15. To solve a problem involving a mixed number, you really need to change it to an improper fraction to easily deal with this. So 2 and 1/2 will become 5 halves. So we have 5 halves n equals 15. Then we can multiply both sides of the equation by 2/5. The left-hand side, the fractions cancel each other out, so you're left with n. On the right-hand side, this 15 times 2/5 equals 6. So n equals 6. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down any part of this problem. Don't forget to write down questions as you have them. Try these 3 quick check problems on your own. After you've done them, start the video again and see how well you did on them. For 2a, we have -6/7 r equals 3/4. To solve this problem, we'll multiply both sides by -7/6. Once you do that on the left-hand side, the -7/6 times -6/7 cancel each other out, so you're left with r. On the right-hand side, 3/4 times -7/6 equals -7/8. So r equals -7/8. For 2b, we have -10/13 b equals -2/3. To solve this one, we're going to multiply both sides by -13/10. So we have -13/10 times -10/13 b equals -2/3 times -13/10. On the left-hand side, the -13/10 times -10/13 cancel each other out, and you're left with b. On the right-hand side, -2/3 times -13/10 equals 13/15. For 2c, we have -6n equals 3/7. To solve this problem, we're going to have to multiply both sides by -1/6. On the left-hand side, -1/6 times -6 just leaves us with the n. On the right-hand side, 3/7 times -1/6 equals -1/14. Pause the video if you need more time to check any of these problems. Don't forget to write down a question. Try D, E, and F on your own. Pause the video, work them out. When you're finished, start the video again, and see how well you did. For D, we have 3 and 1/2 n equals 28. To solve this, we're going to have to first change 3 and 1/2 to an improper fraction of 7 halves. So we have 7/2n equals 28. Now we're ready to actually solve for n. So we can multiply both sides by 2/7. So we have 2/7 times 7/2n equals 28 times 2/7. 2/7 times 7/2 cancel each other out, so on the left-hand side you're left with n, and 28 times 2/7 is 8. For E, we have -7/20 equals 1 1/6 r. The first thing we have to do is change 1 1/6 to an improper fraction. So we have -7/20 equals 7/6 r. To solve this, we're going to multiply both sides by 6/7. So on the left-hand side, we have 6/7 times -7/20, which equals -3/10. The 7/6 and 6/7 cancel each other out on the right, so you're just left with r. So -3/10 equals r. For F, we have -2 3/4 h equals -12 1/2. We have to first start by changing -2 3/4 into an improper fraction, which would be -11/4 h equals -12 1/2. Now to get h by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by -4/11. On the left-hand side, -4/11 times -11/4 cancels each other out. You're left with h. On the right-hand side, -12 1/2 times -4/11 equals 4 6/11. Pause the video if you need more time to check your work or to change any of your answers and work to make them correct. Be sure to record any questions that you might have that we can discuss in class tomorrow.